Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today to show you a method of making a pillow back. And this method is called an envelope pillow back. It's a super fast and fun method. It's the one my grandmother used when she used to make me pillows. And I'll just walk you through it step by step, and you'll have an easy, quick way to finish your pillows. Okay, normally when I finish my pillow backs, I like to put a zipper in them, and I do have a video tutorial you can watch for how to use this method of putting a pillow in your pillow back and covering it up with a simple flap. And this is often my method of choice, but sometimes when you just want to get something done quickly or the style of the pillow dictates this type of finishing, then I'll use this envelope pillow back method. Now, I was piecing this quick, fun 1-star and stripes quilt pillow pattern the other day, and there is actually a free pattern tutorial for this, so I'll link it in the description below. But with a pillow like this, I really wanted the flag to be the star of the pillow. I didn't want to put binding around the edges or have anything take away from the flag block. And so using an envelope pillow back is actually the best way to finish this pillow. And so now let's get started and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so if you're going to make an envelope pillow back, you will first want to know the measurement of your pillow. And this pillow right now measures at exactly 12 inches by 25 inches. And so to make the envelope pillow back, you're going to use 2 separate pieces of backing fabric. This will make the back of your pillow. And you're going to cut them the same width as your pillow front, so 12 inches. So both of these pieces are 12 inches. And then what you're going to do is they are going to overlap on the back of your pillow. And what I usually like to do is make it to where there's a nice overlap. If the overlap, say, was only this much, sometimes your pillow might poke out in between the overlap. So I like to have a generous overlap. And we are going to be finishing these ends so that they aren't raw edges. And the overlap is really nice. My grandmother used to sometimes put a snap in after she was finished because the overlap wasn't quite enough and she didn't want the pillow bulking out. But I found that if you make the overlap big enough that you won't need to use a snap or a button or anything like that. Now the first step you're going to do, and let me just go back and tell you, I cut these pieces 12 inches by 16 inches, each of them. So if you're going to make this same pillow or you have another pillow that's about this size, 12 inches by 16 inches is a good size. So the next thing we're going to do is to press under about 1/4 inch on one side of each of these pieces, fold it over again and press, and then just sew a seam. And I will go over to the sewing machine and to the iron and do that with these and come back and show you. Okay, I went over to the sewing machine, and as I mentioned, I pressed under again, and I just sewed a simple seam pretty close to the edge of that fold so it won't come apart. And I did that just on one side of each of these rectangles. Okay, so one side has a nice hemmed edge, and the other 3 sides are just the raw edge of the fabric. And it's almost as simple as that. We're ready to attach this to the pillow now. We're going to put the fabrics right sides together, and so we want the right side of our envelope pillow back facing the right side of the pillow front, and we're going to line that up right there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to line up the right side with the right side. And we're going to make all of these edges as even as we possibly can. The next thing we're going to do is use our Clover Wonder clips to clip this all the way around. One more thing I should mention is if you want to quilt the pillow back as well, you can. I normally don't. I really like it when it is quilted, but I just honestly didn't take the extra time to quilt the back. But if you were going to quilt the back, what you could do in a situation like this is if this was a quilted piece and this was a quilted piece, it would be really difficult to fold the edges over to hem, so you could simply bind each of these edges with a quick, simple, straight straight binding, and that way you could finish that quilted edge if you wanted to add that extra texture of having your pillow back quilted. Say that fast 3 times. Okay, so I'm just going to use the Clover Wonder clips to hold this together, and I am going to clip all the way around the pillow. You really don't want it to shift while you're sewing, and so you really do want to have it secured all the way around the pillow. And as you can tell, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to use this opening to slip in our pillow insert. Now, with some pillows, I might sew a 1/2 inch seam all the way around, but with this one, it really kind of matters. I don't want to cut off my star in the corner or my stripes, and so I am just going to use a 1/4 inch seam on this, and really, you know, just really make sure that it's accurate and that it's there. But if I was sewing a pillow that had a big white border, I might make the seam allowance a little bit bigger just to give more stability and security. Okay, I've got that all clipped, and I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew all the way around. You don't need to leave an opening because this is your opening where you're going to stuff your pillow. And I will go to the sewing machine now. I will sew this 1/4 inch seam around the entire edge, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I do with the corners, and we'll turn it inside out and we'll put the pillow insert in. Okay, I'm back from the sewing machine. I've sewn all the way around my pillow sandwich, and I wanted to show you one thing that I do also. When I sew these, I sew with the pillow front on top so that I can make sure that I get all of the edges in my seam allowance. And then I turn it over to the back and I double check and make sure that the pillow back is all in my seam allowance. Right here it got a little close. I think it's going to be okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I do have a good 1/8 inch, but I probably should have clipped that a little bit better so it was all the way to that edge. Before I turn the pillow inside out, I'm going to clip these corners, and just so that there isn't so much bulk in the corner, and you want to be really careful not to clip your seam. But I'm just going to clip all 4 corners. And now if we had quilted the pillow back and there was batting in this back layer and another layer of fabric, I might also have clipped some of the seam allowances just to get some of the bulk out, but this one is actually pretty okay. And the next thing you're going to do is just turn it inside out. And I like to just use my fingers to just really push the corners out. If they're not looking good, I will sometimes use a special tool that I have. I'll show you that in a second, to just get those completely pushed out. Okay, they're pretty good. You can tell that I've got my pillow front all enclosed with the backing, and I've got my opening where I'll be able to insert my pillow insert. I am going to run over to the ironing board real quickly and give this a good pressing, and I do that from the front of the pillow so that I don't have the pillow back showing through. So I'll just kind of finger press it. I don't usually pin it or clip it. I'll just finger press it, and then I'll press it with the iron. And I will poke these corners out just a little bit more on a couple of them and show you the tool that I use to do that. Okay, so this is the tool that I mentioned. It's called that purple thing, and it is thing, T-H-A-N-G. And it's just a simple tool that you can use. It has a narrower edge and then a square edge, and you can use it to kind of press out your corners. You do have to be careful because this little point will go all the way through a corner, so you do have to be careful. But I did I'll just put it inside the pillow, and I'll just kind of press a little bit and get those edges the way that I like them. Okay, and I'll show you how I press. And I really just kind of finger press it. I fold, make sure that the backing is down. And I'll just kind of, with my left hand, I'll just press, pull it under, and kind of slide the pillow, and then use my right hand with the iron to press it. And I'm just going to go all the way around the pillow like this, just so that I can make sure that that envelope pillow back doesn't show, or shows as little as possible. Just continue working your way around the edge of the pillow front. My pressing mat is getting a little warm, but the wool pressing mat really does help to give a good press also. It just retains that heat. I'm really happy with the way that the edges have turned out. They look good. I didn't cut off any of the points on my star. That's always a good thing, especially when the edge is just right there on the edge of the pillow. Okay, so I've pressed around the entire edge of the pillow. And we'll go over to the work table and we will insert the pillow insert. Okay, we're back from the ironing board. I've got my pillow neatly pressed. I'm really happy with the way it looks. And now is the fun part. You get to kind of make it come to life. And you just start putting your pillow insert in. Okay, we've finished the pillow. I love the way it looks in the back. It's nice and neat. It looks great from the front. I didn't have to cut off any of my star points, and this is just an easy way to finish a pillow when you really need the outer part of the pillow front, the whole thing to show. And you don't. I just think this would have looked weird if I would have put a zipper in and used a binding. And you could actually also just put a zipper in the bottom of the pillow, and that's a third method that you can use to finish your pillow. And one more thing I wanted to show you, if you're not happy with the way your corners look, you can take just a little piece of batting and stuff them in there. I don't know if I'll do that right away, because sometimes if I set it on the couch and it'll just kind of shift and adjust, kind of, I don't know, just on its own. So I'll wait and see if I really feel like if I want to put some more stuffing in the corners, then I can just add some little tiny pieces of batting in and push those corners out a little bit more. But that's how you make an envelope pillow back for your pillows. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks so much for stopping by.